Well, this is one of our special edition ones where we publicize the entire thing.
Minus the members edition only, where we have the erotic insert, where we actually put into practice what it is that we are speaking about.
Exactly. So this special edition I'm very excited about. Men are going to be learning a lot about their own bodies and how to be masterful without being too tame.
And if you want to check out how to train for that, then check out yafab.com. Also, at the Embodied Love University, we're going to be having a men's community where we go into what it is to really develop your sexual mastery, intimacy mastery, and relational mastery. But if you're listening to this as a member, then that erotic insert will be in there. And if you are listening to the free version, then you might want to go ahead and get that membership, because this episode is quite spectacular.
I'm very excited for this episode because we're going to focus on a really cool event that's coming up. An event I think that should actually be year-long, but it's always associated with November. And what is that event?
Well, it's normally called No Nut November, but in this case it is Mo Nut.
Okay,
November.
We're going to explore what that is, because that's crazy. We're going to explore a lot of things actually today.
Well, today we're going to be talking about advanced sexual mastery, specifically for men. And this has been a long time coming, no pun intended, but maybe so. And it's something that's really important.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about, I want to open up with, this topic is riddled with shame. It's riddled with, we kind of hide things, or we rush through things, so it creates this really weird pattern of men being at home with their own body, eliciting not only pleasure, but skill for in the bedroom. And one of the things I love about what you do and how you teach this is it's not only a phenomenal practice for naturally increasing testosterone, a phenomenal practice for having more sensation during the act of connected and partnered sex, and having more variety of orgasm as a male, but it also is, as far as I can tell, the only training that specifically trains you for the partnered experience. I taught a lot of men's stuff in the past, and it's fantastic for solo cultivation, but there really was never a genuine bridge practice into partnered sex. So I'm very excited for that.
I mean, some of the most exciting things that we've had are literally couples who go through this where they've even had a partner that hasn't been very interested in having sex with the guy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, we can do this as a practice. You're going to get better at pleasing me as well, and I can become part of masturbation.
And I can gamify this and make it super fun.
And the next thing you know, the partner's super active, the couple's getting deeper levels of intimacy and pleasure.
Even the ones with kids, by the way.
There you go. And even those that have had like endometriosis, we'll get into it, but there is a huge reframe here around masturbation being, the Latin definition of that word is to defile oneself with their hand. And here you're literally turning masturbation into the training grounds for having epic sex with your partner, as well as the ability to turn into this meditative practice to deeply come into touch with yourself and generate tremendous amounts of pleasure, as well as to give it.
I mean, we have done other episodes on self-pleasure. We've done other episodes on the conscious cock. So I think if those are complementary, but we're going to focus in specifically on the way that you use your section sex methodology for the program YAFAP.
Yep.
And I want to, before we jump into that, you called it, what is it, the most advanced sexual mastery class for men or something?
Yes.
So what exactly do you mean by sexual mastery? And how is that different than, like, getting better at communication and better at holding safety and all the stuff around intimacy and relationship that we're hearing?
So relationship mastery is how are you able to really help with the bond that's established. You're really looking at people's attachment patterns and the ability to have, a consensual one-night stand, the ability to really go into romance where you can then blossom that into a relationship if you want to have a long-term relationship, make a family, everything else. So this is along the lines of relational mastery. When it comes to intimacy mastery, we're talking about the ability to communicate, the ability to be able to go through everyday life and hold space, but to really help to have your partner feel more regulated, more robust. This isn't just about safety. This is about establishing security within the relationship and in the communication, so that way both partners feel that they can handle any challenge that comes up.
Okay.
However,
but that's not what this episode is about.
Does not include, you can go through all of that and still not have sexual mastery.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think there's a lot, and those are really important facets of just being masterful in general in this realm of sex, intimacy, and relating. However, leaving out the actual sexual part, and I say that with tongue in cheek because there's a lot of courses and things that promise to teach you those things. But I've been to those courses and like, I didn't actually learn anything really about the actual moment of actual sex. And here's what I've seen. No matter what a person goes and learns and trains, the truth serum is the moment the penis meets the other body. In that moment, tells you everything. I mean, I can tell how much porn a lover has watched by that moment.
Yes.
What happens in that moment. So what I love about YAFAP is we are training that moment.
Well, how much porn they've watched. You also learn very quickly if the person's truly a dom, like they've sit there and put themselves out to be.
Most guys who want to be doms is because they don't want feedback, by the way. It's not because they want to do that properly.
Also, you'll find very quickly those who are maybe confident with their tongue or finger skills, but their lack of confidence around their penis size, their abilities to use their penis, the shape of their penis, their lasting abilities.
Basically understanding how incredible your penis actually is, and no matter what's going on with the shape, size, color, whatever, that you have so much confidence that you don't care if right now you're going around and having lots of dates and meeting different women or men, you wouldn't care because you're so confident with your own body and its capacity to self-generate pleasure and also to give pleasure. Like, that to me is a massive game changer over the size thing or the whatever thing.
There's actually 4 different stories, maybe we'll just limit ourselves to 3,
Jeez.
that you have told me before. And I think it's so, the spectrum of what you've learned about a guy once they have brought their penis to your vagina and you're like, oh, what they've portrayed themselves to be is not it at all. Yeah. There is one who was, we'll just say European, very wealthy, had an amazing apartment. You ended up leaving that date laughing. So that's one. There's the world famous bartender who looked incredible, but then once you
very seductive,
seductive
to get any lady he wanted,
and then once you got him into the bedroom, you were like, oh,
like they energized
never
your body.
again.
It was like,
there's the story of the beautiful man that you met in one island and then gave you this, it was like a 20-minute performance, and you were like, so are we just warming up? And then he was like, wait, that's it. That's what it's supposed to be. That's it. Every other person has always been satisfied. Like 20 minutes is good enough, yes? And you're like, no. And then there was also another one that you mentioned to me. Great guy, great date. The second started having sex with you, you saw how much anger and vitriol and hatred was actually there towards women in general. So there's also the emotional truth serum that comes out when it's there. So I don't know if you maybe want to revisit a little bit of those stories, but maybe since we've sort of told the other 3, tell me about the one where you went to the expensive apartment with the guy who like took you on this amazing date and everything seemed incredible, and then
I mean, I was also thinking of a different
okay, well, let's go with that one then. Go with that one.
Of, again, actually a teacher in this field.
Okay.
And very beautiful voice, very suave, everything. But as life is for a lot of you, life can be stressful, can be demanding. You can be quite tired. Maybe you're going through, I don't know, some deadlines with work, or maybe you just had a really bad breakup, or maybe you're facing, a family member that's ill. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you can be depleted and stressed. And here's what happens, and it's very distressing for me as a woman to witness this, is when a man, everything else is there, charming, gentleman, seductive, has all the right moves, has all the right words. But when it comes down to their relationship with their cock, if the cock is not functioning on demand, like for whatever reason, maybe it's late at night, or maybe, I don't know, this angry relationship with trying to make it work, it's so distressing to watch that. It really is. And I'm the type of partner, I'm like, hey, if it's not working, let's just have a nap, let's relax, let me give you a massage.
Well, be explicit. So, like, what happened? He was trying to have sex with you, couldn't get it up, and what happened? And
just started to masturbate himself violently. And it looked painful. His face was kind of contorted in agony, and he was...
You almost feel like you needed to do an intervention because he was beating down his penis.
He was destroying his penis. I don't know what's called, the what is it, the death grip?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like that. It was like, someone jokingly told me once, it's like choking the chicken. I'm like, what? But literally, it was like killing his penis. And it actually distressed me to the point where I did not want to have sex. And I was like, let's call it quits. Let's stop. I can't engage with this type of self-abuse from this person.
Well, this brings us then to a really important point. This program here isn't just some kind of like, oh, you're going to do strength training for your penis or do these different pelvic floor exercises and learn a little bit about your hormones. No, this goes much further. You will have that, but what you really need to have, and this was after having a conversation with one of the top sports physios in the world who even advises surgeons on how to do surgery so that
the recovery is better.
So that the elite athletes don't have nerve damage and have better recovery. I mean, we're talking the highest levels. Was said this program here, what it does is that it's actually a retraining of the central nervous system.
Whoop.
And in addition to that, in terms of the physical side of the training, it is working all of the important muscles out through the full range, which you do not get with Kegels, while at the same time developing that interceptive awareness that then allows you to attune to another person.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because there's these crazy ads going on right now. It's the same. They've got like guys in the African village doing it, guys in like Kazakhstan doing it. Like they're everywhere. There's this weird.
And then they have like a banana like kind of bent.
Yeah.
And then they have one that's like all buff.
But then they're doing these weird kind of like.
This thrusting things.
Well, their legs are open. They're in kind of a diamond squat. And then they're doing this weird thrusty thing, and I'm like, okay, first of all, how does that even work when you're with another body?
They're not even thrusting; they're actually just pumping their hips up and down.
It's just the weirdest. And I'm like, okay, someone somewhere clearly has no idea how to be a great lover, but they've
watched porn.
It looks cool, but it actually would not feel nice.
No.
And it wouldn't actually help you last, and it wouldn't give you any sensitivity. So I'm just laughing because I just feel like, I don't know, what would it be like? Like everyone being told, I don't know, that one of those cheap energy drinks is the thing that's going to get you like fully optimized. Or
the way that I look at it is, it's the same as thinking that if you're going to do bodybuilding, lifting weights, that now all of a sudden you're going to be the best athlete.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference between being a functional athlete, athletic, and competing in sports versus building muscles to look nice in the mirror.
Hey, that's why I like, when I grew up on a farm, my dad and my grandfather, they were strong, but they weren't training in the gym. They were practical. They were like chopping wood every day. They were dealing with, cattle. They were
Your grandfather had sex until the day he died.
Pretty much.
Literally.
Like literally. That's what his girlfriend said anyways. And he had cancer. Yeah, so very virile men. But the thing is, like, practically able to move. So the reason I brought this up is there's so much information why we're passionate about this is there's so much misleading information that looks snazzy and dazzy and razzy. But according to the sports physio, when we are like, well, what do you think of these exercises that are being shown? And she was like, just kind of, forehead slapping herself going, yeah, no, not good.
Yep.
And so could you explain a little bit more, like how the YAFAP is working in tandem with your suction sex methodology and why this is so successful? Because, I mean, I used to teach men and I've seen a lot of men's programs. Yeah. I've witnessed what happens to the men that go through your program, and I'm shocked over and over again. I shouldn't be, but I am now. I'm still shocked. Within 3 days, the guy, like, it sounds weird, but it just actually is that way. Within 3 days, that's
about 6 minutes of practice.
Yes, but what is actually going on there? Because that's not really what happens in most programs.
So, well, first of all, let's position it then against the programs that you were showing people beforehand. I mean, what are the different ones that you've seen in general?
Well, I was trained and certified as a Taoist Qigong teacher for sexual, I think it's called Healing Love.
Okay.
Practiced a long time ago. I only taught women for a while, then I taught the partners of those women, and then when I gained confidence,
so
I
we're talking like
single
the
men.
multi-orgasmic man type of book.
Correct. So the multi-orgasmic man and the books before, there's Montague Chia and Dr. Stephen Chang. They both have kind of came out around the same time with sexual practices, cultivation practices. And even within those books, there's the couples book, and they talk about different ways of thrusting and different ways of connecting and fire and water and all those things. And there's wonderful practices.
I mean, a big one people have heard about is the microcosmic orbit.
The microcosmic orbit is a really big one. Essentially, that you're opening the Du and Ren channel, which is the channels that go from the perineal area, tailbone, up to the top of the head and then back down. You're
essentially getting this energy supposed
back
to
down
flow
the front
like
line.
This way.
Yeah. And these are really important channels. If you do study acupuncture, acupressure, they are used extensively in many different types of modalities and meditations.
So what guys are essentially, are they like focusing then on different points?
After teaching it for decades and doing it myself, the greatest gift of that particular practice is not that you're going to have immortality, and it's not that, no, there's a few things happening there. One, you are training your brain to, where is your attention and awareness? That's number one. Where's your attention and awareness? You're just simply, my attention's now on my tailbone. I've moved my attention to my sacrum. Like, this is a big deal where you train your mind to move where you want it to be.
Yes.
Number one. Two, because it's energetic, so it's subtle, you are now also training your system to attune itself to the more subtle sensations that arise in the body. It's a phenomenon, a subtle sensation. So I actually renamed it subtle sensation meditation, just because that seemed to be the primary gift of the microcosmic orbit, was simply to train your mind to attend to wherever you want it to be, number one. Two, to be aware of subtle energy, because subtle energy is not so subtle when you actually attune to it.
So why not just training that then?
Well, what I noticed is that it wasn't actually, it wasn't translating very well in the bedroom. So I had plenty of partners who studied these things and practiced extensively, but somehow it wasn't translating to the penis. I mean, what I've noticed, say with you, is that your penis sees somehow. Like, you know exactly where to go.
Oh yeah. And you'll learn it.
You know exactly where to go, and then there's this fine-tune attunement.
Learn how to do it.
And you can trace kind of, I guess, surges of orgasm long before I'm even aware of them.
In your body.
In my body. And then attune to that, and then move and breathe in ways that actually support that to come forward, support that to expand, support that to deepen. I mean, there's a lot of different expressions depending on how you're breathing and moving. But that's sort of the first time I experienced someone with that level of mastery over, like, precision of what's actually happening, not only with your body, but specifically, like, I know I'm going to move in this way and you're going to have this experience, and knowing that with confidence is really cool.
So they would learn how to tune into their own subtle energy, but they would not be able to really tune into you, though.
Here's what's going on, because you teach awareness of the sensorial awareness. So it's kind of the same. Except that the way that you teach it is that you're having people think of, when you are making love, become aware of the heat of your skin or the texture of the air, or, so you're teaching sensualizing in such a way that's actually useful to the act of lovemaking, versus I find that the orbit, you can become so internally attuned and obsessed that you forget that there's another person. And then you get upset with the other person if they're not kind of sinking in with your development of subtlety. And that creates disconcordance between people versus synergy.
So when you look at studies where partners have said, yes, this sex has felt incredible, I have higher relationship and sexual satisfaction, the two factors are, one, having self-awareness, but two, the ability to attune to the other partner.
This is the cool part of YAFAP, because you're developing a massive amount of somatic and interoceptive awareness, which is huge. You're also developing energetic capacity. So you're as the sports physio was saying, the program is specifically designed to up-level your nervous system to handle more and more and more sensation and bigger sensation, so that when even the smallest peak might happen, or a little orgasmic wave, it doesn't send you over the edge. You can ride that wave into the next one.
And that gets us back to the definition that we didn't actually state. What is sexual mastery? It is the ability to give and receive higher and higher levels of pleasure. And then I love another part that you brought up around mastery, and this is important for you all, is that the first steps to mastery is understanding that mastery doesn't stop.
Correct.
That there is a lifelong progression
mastery
that opens
emergent.
Up. Precisely.
It's emergent. So we are fed an idea, like, you go and you're going to do like a Taoist sexual weekend, or a tantric weekend, or a conscious sexuality weekend, and you're promised all these particular things. But then you feel like, okay, if I go and I do that, I'm going to attain the certificate, and now I'm just a master of this, and I can go on living my life. It's crossed off the to-do list. No. What you were given then is just a bunch of techniques. Your erotic intelligence was not tapped into and not given permission to actually lead. So with YAFAP, you are literally allowing your own erotic intelligence to come fully online, where you start to pay attention to it, you trust it, you follow it, and because of that, then your own mastery is a lifelong development. It's like this emergent knowing, so you can handle literally any situation. What I love about having sex with you is that every day is different, and that you meet those moments with curiosity, and then from there you're very creative. And I think that that's really important, because if we're not creative, then some moments I'm not open to certain things that I was even half an hour ago.
Which you'll hear on some of the erotic inserts in the podcast.
Exactly. So that attunement to what's emerging, the truth, erotic truth as it emerges, and you can meet that, and then you can play with it and shape it and mold it according to how you use your breath and sound and move your body and the rhythms. That's mastery, and that is an emergent skill that only gets more and more refined and attuned with age. So how cool is that? That as you get older, you actually become more masterful and even better and even more potent as a man. And I think that's really
gentlemen,
important.
Goodness, wouldn't you love to have your girlfriend give you that testimonial, or your partner, your wife? I mean, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel very seen. Maybe we'll have to just end this episode
pause this
early.
For a second.
Yeah, I want to go ahead.
Okay, so can you give us let's jump into what's kind of blocking us to understanding why this is so important. And
Well, so let's though answer then the question that you asked me is like, what is this program specifically doing? And from a sports physio perspective, you are on the physical side. You're learning how to tap into your body, one, to develop this proprioceptive and interoceptive awareness. Proprioceptive awareness is where you are in space, which is so important.
Super important.
If you are with another person, because then you can be aware of your weight management. You can become even aware
just
of
that,
them.
Can you pause?
Yep.
It's awful when you're getting crushed and you can't breathe. Like, it's awful. Just saying. Okay, keep going.
I have spoken to so many female friends and clients, and they're like, oh my gosh, I just want this guy. He's, like nearly 7 foot tall or 6'1" or whatever the perfect height is. And he weighs 200 something. Oh, just the perfect Adonis. Also, he has this massive penis, but then all of a sudden they get there and they're like, I couldn't breathe. He was crushing me. I was imagining how good I would look next to him in the club, but not how good it felt during the actual time with them.
Yeah.
Or he has a ginormous cock. It should be so good. I mean, how many of your clients literally are complaining to you because their partners have a big penis and they're like, it's actually
Numbing me out.
comfortable because I'm getting numb. I'm having to just sustain
or it's like
through pain.
painful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's a huge piece. Next, ability to work the muscle throughout the full range of motion.
You have an extraordinary, is it 7 levels of pelvic floor?
Yes.
Work, which is, most people don't even know 1 or 2.
So that's the thing. I mean, most stuff you'll hear is like, oh, a Kegel. If it's another program that maybe has now listened to our stuff for long enough, they go, oh, then the reverse Kegel.
Yeah.
But no, this isn't just an isolated movement, first of all. It needs to be brought in with the breath, with your hip movement, and then brought in actually with your pleasure system. So once you've learned the full range of motion, developed interoceptive and proprioceptive awareness, which is going on inside your body, but then in relation to the other person, then and only then does plyometrics and strength training make sense. And that's what you have then the pelvic floor training for, because you have all of those components in there. However, that is still incomplete. That would be at most rehabbing the muscle or learning some muscle movement. But the second part, and this is so key, the sports physio said, you need to train the central nervous system.
Yep.
And there's 2 parts to that. They are, 1, your nerve adaptation, meaning how much pleasure can you feel in your own body? How much pleasure can you give the other person without just peeking over the edge?
This is so important. We'll pause here for a second, because it's not your fault.
Yeah.
The way that life is at this time is, it trains the nervous system to predominantly be in a sympathetic response. And because of that, it's really hard for bodies to last long or actually get a depth of pleasure or a depth of intimacy easily. Sometimes you get it by fluke, sometimes you get it through a practice, but just life the way it's designed, you're up against a lot. So not only is this training helping you with that, so you're training yourself, yes, to be a better lover in a partnered experience, but essentially you become a better, more resilient human because of this training.
Well, and this is also why these ads that you're seeing around making yourself have a strong banana or eggplant, you see these buff eggplants and buff bananas, and the guy sitting there thrusting away and doing all these fancy exercises with amazing abs. Great. But you're only driving yourself into this sympathetic state of how long can I feel the burn and go for? Which then leads you into, well, now I need to regulate how much pleasure I'm having. We'll get into that because that's going to be another important piece of this. But this here is actually teaching you to do this from a place of relaxation, of fine-tuning, so that way then literally sex can become this massive meditation, whether you're doing this with yourself through masturbation or doing it with a partner, that takes you into such deep states of inner knowing and feeling.
What is it like for you? What's it like to live your life and you have these skills?
I will get into that, but I want to finish off by saying, first of all, is that you adapt the nervous system.
Yeah.
You adapt the nerves. Secondly, the part that was called load management. And that isn't just your load and not nutting for Mo Nut November. But the load management from a sports physio perspective is about the ability to contract and relax, and in this case also expand the muscles necessary at the right time. So the example that was given to me was that kettlebell, excellent training, really develops a beautiful physique, always done on the heels of the feet. Whereas any sports, hockey, basketball, rugby, football, you are on the balls of your feet, and you also too are having to read the field and then be able to adapt and move at instances. I mean, like not even just like milliseconds, and that makes a big difference. So how that translates then into the bedroom is knowing how to actually work with your pelvic floor, work with your breath, work with your hips, bring it all together. But then also when you have a woman who is beautiful and in the throes of her passion, and that pussy is just like a mouth sucking on you, pulling on you, like drawing on you, all these things. How
and
do
you hear the sounds.
You
For
hear
a
the
lot of
sounds
times that can push a guy over, just the sound.
completely. Or maybe she reaches around and grabs your testicles or puts her hand on the back of your neck or whatever the thing is, and you know what it is that normally gets you to come. When you can master how to actually go into that state and not stop your pleasure,
So relaxed arousal?
but feel your pleasure, they are responding to your pleasure. This is why normally this doesn't, people's training doesn't work, because either you're trying to go off into your Taoist head and like think of the microcosmic orbit, and then you're not actually connecting to the other person. They're not feeling your pleasure. You're not feeling
I have
your
to
pleasure.
say, the Taoist lovers were the most disconnected lovers that I had.
Or maybe you're told to count sheep, or think of your poor grandmother. I mean, like,
why?
This is always like the
Leave
kind
her
of
out
images.
of it. No, sorry, Grandma.
and using that as the way to get turned off. Well, guess what? The greatest aphrodisiac to your partner, aside from her own physical pleasure, is feeling yours and then sharing it.
Absolutely.
So the key here is to actually boost your pleasure capacity by feeling more pleasure.
Well, what I love about this too, it's like the style in which you encourage men to explore.
Yes.
Though it's not like a here's how you do your penetrative, it's not a partnered program, it's a solo program. You can do it with your partner, which is super cool, but it is a solo program. But just the way you retrain how men touch themselves, they instantly become better at how they're moving with a body.
You retrain how you touch yourselves and retrain how you feel yourself. And you also change your thought pattern on what it is to have a good, proper erection, which is really important.
Yes, and also that erections have a cycle.
That's exactly what I'm getting to.
And for the ladies out there, if you're not aware of that, maybe because you've only ever maybe had shorter sessions of sex, because the average length is about 5
to 7 minutes, and most women believe that they only want 15 to 21 minutes.
Well, actually, now it seems less than that. I was just reading something. It's 7 to 13 minutes.
Okay.
So whatever, but in that length of time, I can tell you this is the phase where the bodies are still calibrating.
Yes.
This is the phase where, unless you've done an hour of pussy massage beforehand, you're still hydrating the tissues. You're still bringing things online. You haven't even come to kind of that first layer of really synchronized body and pleasure. So if you've not had that, you won't be aware that the penis has these cycles.
Natural cycle to its erection.
What's really fun, though, when a man understands his natural cycles and you start to allow, it's very important to allow those natural cycles. So when the penis starts getting a little less hard, like what's happening there, and then being able to be with that and enjoy that, and then it returns, which is really quite extraordinary. knowing that it's not because he's less interested in you, it's not because he finds you suddenly, unattractive, or there's a bad smell or whatever. It's literally just the way that the penis needs to be to get fresh blood flow into it so that it can last for hours, actually.
Well, and then on top of that as well, as the cock develops its sort of own consciousness to really attune to the partner's body, a lot of times the other partner, in those times that the erection starts to dip down, like the arousal kind of does a little bit more of a plateau, it's because the other partner needs that pause.
Little pause, yeah.
Because if you're coming in with too much heat, then the other person can get penetration anxiety. They can go into overwhelm on the receiving side.
Or you can kind of go into a sympathetic orgasm and then it's finished.
Well, and so let's start there. The typical arousal cycle, as defined by medicine, is in general that you have arousal, getting turned on. You then have erection, meaning the cock gets hard. You then have ejaculation, the spray, and then you have the refractory period, where then there's the loss of erection and
prolactin and
sex is over.
Turn away.
Prolactin comes up, drops.
Give me the cigarette.
Serotonin drops in.
The typical movie scene.
Norepinephrine, drops in oxytocin, drops in and dopamine. All these things, and essentially what you have is literally low desire towards re-engaging with your partner for a time period until then the erection returns.
I think that's what makes section sex, and then any man who really trains this YAFAP way of being with himself, really extraordinary, because the thing that attracts me the most, the thing that's like, nah, is you building a charge in your body. And so by the way that you are with yourself and you build that charge, it's like a bee to honey. It's very attractive. And then when we do have sex, in the way that we move our energy, it's not like I want to be away. I want to be.
So my charge is the honey and your desire is the bee?
Maybe.
All right.
I like that. Could be reversed, I suppose. But yeah, just how often after, even if we do have a little quickie or we have a longie, it doesn't matter the length of time. What I've noticed is, wow, I want more. It's not that I'm not satisfied. I'm fully satisfied. I can go into my workday. I can go and do my things. But there's this aspect of, I still want to be close. I still want to be connected. And not out of a needy way, just out of like, this feels amazing. How much more amazing can it be? And again, for all of us, this is a difficult thing. We have put a glass ceiling on our joy.
Yes.
We have put a glass ceiling on how much pleasure or even how much arousal we allow ourselves to feel. Most people feel like a little tingle of arousal and want to discharge it immediately. And because that's the habit, a little arousal, discharge, a little arousal, discharge. What that does over a lifetime is you become there's hardly any charge in your system. So then there's a loss of libido, loss of interest, and then there's also health issues and all kinds of things that can come in that affect this. So instead, right now, I don't care what your age is, what your experience is, by pattern interrupting and removing the glass ceiling to how much arousal we can have, removing the glass ceiling to how much joy or pleasure we can have, just smush it, smash it, get rid of it. Now you're in this land of infinite possibility. And don't worry, if you just want to visit it for a few moments, you just visit it for a few moments. But when you just go in for a few moments with that idea, you're creating more charge. So suddenly you feel better. And then maybe you revisit and stay longer.
Well, let's pause there for a second, because this is such a huge issue. And I think to understand, okay, yes, there's a glass ceiling, but why is it there is so important. And it's because as a culture, we have been taught not to trust our pleasure. And by that, I mean that your pleasure can actually lead you in a place that helps you meet your goals, as opposed to it is a distraction from it. And this is so key for guys that struggle with masturbation. Frankly, on the other end of the spectrum, guys who have delayed ejaculation, who write in, oh, well, I last 40 minutes, but I'm not feeling much pleasure until that last little bit
Little
there.
second, yeah.
So all they're doing is ignoring their partner, ignoring themselves, pumping and dumping away and going and beating themselves to get the erection, keep the erection, to feel something. So that way then they can have this release potentially after 40 minutes of tiring out. The partner's sitting there like, completely numb, worn out, just kind of trying to sustain whatever they can in terms of sensation.
I've had that a person. I mean, they literally bruised me. I couldn't even walk for like a week because.
And you've also had guys that do this, but then you also just don't even feel. It's like their cock is
There's
empty.
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing there. It doesn't matter the size either.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And so what ends up happening though is you get so focused on that little quick release there at the end that the whole process is gone. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really exist. So the ability to actually start to feel and connect with yourself and look at, this is a charge that I can build in my body, and the more I build this charge, it's going to supercharge the relationship. It's going to, in terms of, it actually starts to break away out of that kind of avoidant pattern of we have sex and now we're not interested until things get hot and then we're not interested. Actually, you stay very intimate and focused on each other.
Without it being anxious.
Without it being anxious. It also facilitates communication, because as opposed to coming from this place of, there's a deep part of me that's not being heard, the bodies have been met. That animal side of you goes, okay, this is someone that I really trust. So then you can just deal with whatever the thoughts might be and the words that need to be shared between one another. But it's felt as true because you've actually made love to the other person in the most literal sense, that you have made love.
Yeah.
And you've embodied it with each other.
Well, I think this is a good place to go back to my question from a while back is, what is it like to be you? Like, because I know you've shared stories with me sometimes. Well, when I have this charge and I go out in the world, like people are turning, they're looking, they're like, what can I do for you, sir? Like there's a certain magnetic quality to your presence when you're charging yourself up, when you're alone or with a partner. So could you share just a little bit more as a man who you have a lot of sexual energy, but you're also a safe man. People feel very at home and relaxed. I mean, the most common comment I hear from women about you is just how beautiful your heart is, which is a rare thing for a lot of women to experience, a man that they're not necessarily in relation to, just a friend, a teacher who has this beautiful heart energy, but also a very strong presence.
When we went on our morning walk this morning, you said something that was so key. And it was the difference between, as I was speaking about, there's so many programs out there that are showing abstinence as a way to control one's sex drive. And I said that I don't want to remove the impulse or the compulsivity of wanting and desiring to have sex, because normally that's drawn out in the addiction side.
And it's also painted as bad.
Yes, because, well, the effect is that you impulsively just run off and have sex with the wrong person, or you go to porn, and so then you can't get your work done, and then you also are compulsively doing it because you're doing it over and over and over and over again, and you feel absolutely drained. Well, I feel that the impulse is there to have it in the moment.
Well, that's the erotic intelligence going, hey, I'm vital. Hello, pay attention.
Exactly.
I'm alive.
And then that impulse can be driven into, hey, let's turn off this camera right now. We'll be back in a little bit, y'all. We'll have a quickie and then come on back even more energized for you. Cut? No. Do you know if we went? You don't know. It could have been editing. So there is this ability to actually take that impulse to go and have the quickie, have a longing, but also to then go, you know what? This added energy I have, like a cup of coffee, sex is my coffee, will now be driven into my work project, into bringing new solutions to challenges that might be there, or birthing an entirely new genius course and getting new perspectives on it, or just the impetus to actually have a talk about our relationship to further like develop it, or our business plans, everything?
It was really beautiful the other day. You were on your phone with one of your best friends from high school, and I overheard just a small amount of the conversation. He said, I get that you and Saida actually talk, like really talk. And he was saying how important, because he's a lawyer, so he's seen a lot of divorce, he's seen a lot of problems and a lot of arguments, and he's recognized in his own life with his other friends that they're not actually talking. So part of your solo practice is what you're saying is it increases your capacity to show up, to be curious, etc.
Well, I'm essentially getting that deep. Go ahead and cough. I'm getting that ability to actually have those conversations with myself. One of the clients said that where he had shame around masturbation, it now had become his new meditation. And this was huge. From that, he then went from being single for years to now, boom, all of a sudden having a partner that went into the most intimate, sexually charged partnership that he had. And it literally started as this practice began. I think it was around like 2 weeks into it. So what it does for me is it also not just the impulsive side to directing, but the compulsive side. You look at animals. They have seasons where they are very impulsive around sex.
Springtime.
And very compulsive around it. They have lots of it. And then they feel it, they go for it.
It's a strong biology.
So how does that translate into the human experience? Well, we just spoke about the impulsive side, but then the compulsive side, the desire to return to it. I mean, now this is where you're the honey and I'm the bee. I'm wanting to go back to connect with you that way, to have the fuel to create the relational mastery, the intimacy mastery, to have those dynamics working from a place of pleasure. And it becomes my regular way to train and charge myself up. When you start going to the gym, you begin to have more energy for other areas of your life. When you start to eat correctly, you start to have more energy for other areas of your life. It's not just about that one meal.
Well, I like that you brought that up, because I think as we were walking, I'm like, well, yes, and this practice is the harnessing of that impulsivity, of that compulsivity, of that erotic aliveness, of that surging of vitality through the system, because we're not used to feeling. And so, but when we can harness it, there's nowhere we cannot go. There's nothing we cannot create. This is where we start defying certain like laws, because now we're playing at a different, almost like a quantum level of living.
Before we get into that little bit, I just want to say the words that you said that really struck me, because I had been speaking about the impulsive, compulsive, what you did now, but you said that's what I call harnessing. And that's the difference between something driving you and you driving it.
Correct. Because when I think harnessing, which happened to me, by the way, when I started solo practice, I would describe it as I have this chariot, I've got 12 gorgeous, strong, powerful horses, but they're pulling in every direction, so I'm going nowhere fast.
Yes.
And as I started to train myself as a sexual being, all of the horses, they lined up, and any cracks in the wheels or the chariot itself got all patched and healed. And
the horses learned to work tandem.
And then I would just have a slight thought in one direction, and they would just, boom, we would be there already. And so the effectiveness, there was way less energy required to create the life that I wanted.
Yes. So, well, and then when you got it harnessed, it created that energy to have the life that you wanted.
Exactly.
So the piece then that when I talk about an advanced sexual mastery for men, the ability to give as well as receive pleasure, we're talking about optimizing your ability to, one, have the erection and sensation that you want. Also your ability then to perform, being with a partner, not in the sense of performing like for a movie, but to actually give and receive the pleasure
Yes.
that you maybe are just imagining that you're doing. as well as then the ability to harness that energy.
Well, this is a good moment to interject because there's this, at least in the Taoist and Tantric side, there's some communities who are really obsessed with this around ejaculatory choice. And they're like, you cannot ejaculate. Like, they're like obsessed, and they become very neurotic around their semen. And then there's other communities, obviously, that are doing it like obsessively ejaculating.
Yes.
So what I like about YAFAP, it's an ejaculatory choice. And why this is important is very empowering when you're choosing. And when you can start to tune into your own hormonal cycles. There are moments where your energy is up, your hormones are good. That could be actually a very healthy moment to release.
Yes.
There's times, though, where you're in a depletion phase, so it wouldn't be so great because it can cascade you down into depression and some low energy. But there's another trend that's going around of women saying, yeah, well, because I'm not getting the semen, because they're against the semen control, then my body's like, fine, you're not impregnating me, you're no longer an interesting male to me, I'm going to move on to someone else. So could you address that a little bit? Because I feel with the way couples have reported, and my own experience as well, that the female partners are reflecting back that sex is less painful, it's way more pleasurable, some of their dysfunctions being healed, they want their partner, they're starting to tap on the shoulder. Like, so could you explain a little bit of that around the beauty of semen and like the choice to do whatever you choose with it?
There's two things that happen. One is when I have been with partners and we have a sexual experience and I choose not to ejaculate, two things happen. One, there is no quicker way for a woman who has lived her entire life believing that sex is for the guy, which on some level most women do. I mean, if you've ever been with a partner, she is gifting you sex, or if you've ever gone out to a bar or wherever else, or wherever you meet a woman, or if you even just have the attitude of like, will she allow me to get a piece of that?
And there's old school, like, ladies, you may need to please your husband. It's going to keep the peace in your marriage. He's not going to look elsewhere, so be sure you just service him well.
There is a reframe that starts to happen in her as well as your mind to go, wait. Yes, you are a gift, and so am I. And that, just in and of itself, I mean, that's a big shift.
It's a big shift. And when there isn't always the release of semen, as you were saying, she can also feel like, oh, my pleasure matters. Like, this isn't just about pump and dump, because that's a lot of times, unfortunately, what a lot of women feel used.
And a lot of times a woman will say, okay, let's not have sex because it's going to take X amount of time, or I have to go, I won't give a person a blowjob because it needs to go to ejaculation, or else I haven't performed, he won't be satisfied.
Yeah, there's an addiction to that too. So I really, really love, FAP, once you go through the 21 days on your own, you can do it again and have your partner's hand or mouth to help you out, which I love. And there's something really exciting about the charge that gets built, and there isn't a release, and it's just this charge, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm playing with this very intense electrical wand. And it's really fun. It's a really fun thing.
Well, then you could be literally in the middle of the day.
It's just a few moments, and
you're just like, I want to take a visit down there, and next thing you know, you're giving me a blowjob. I'm like, whoa, okay. But then you feel free to do that, because then you can just pause and just get back to whatever.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to do it for a minute.
And cut. And we're back. So
you're funny.
So that is one thing that happens. Secondly, when I do not release, there is a charge that happens inside your body. It's like there's this magnetism that's just like, I want that seed. I want more of that.
And that's the primal uterus with the primal balls, I suppose.
Precisely. And so there's this continued desire that then after lovemaking bridges into the next and into the next and into the next until then, whatever that time period might be, days, weeks, months, where then you then decide to have the release. But as opposed to the release being for reproduction or just to get rid of the charge, you use that energy, and it can be over any of the shared relational intentions that might be there. It could be prayers for business. It could be prayers for family, as weird as that might sound. There's also then what are the goals that you're wanting to achieve, and so you start to associate this energy as what you are planting inside of your partner that then starts to blossom in the relationship. And some people refer this as sex magic. Other people talk about it as manifestation. Other times talk about it as sacred sex. Whatever the words are that you're using, though, you are starting to recondition the actual intention around sex to not just be, hey, we're getting the guy to be able to release, or even just so that way then the partner does, but you actually are starting to build a charge between each other and then intentionally choosing when to discharge it towards very specific things that you're wanting to bring into your life.
Well, I want to use the last little bit of the podcast to specifically talk about No Nut November. You're renaming it Mo Nut November, and that doesn't mean that you're ejaculating every day.
No.
It means you're actually building your potency every day. And so as the YAFAP program, so if you're listening to this when we first released it, there's an opportunity to join, which is super exciting. Can you tell us a little bit more what's going to happen in November? I think you're doing 21 days from November 1st to November 21st.
We'll see exactly what that first day is, but there's a 21-day program, and this is great because essentially you get to focus 21 days. There's a community of other guys that are also focusing. You get to post what your times are for each day, how long that you stimulated, and then track how much pleasure you actually felt as then you build those minutes and times over the 21-day period. And again, you're at ejaculatory choice. So it means that, you don't lose if you release during those 21 days, but see how much pleasure you can actually build in your body. So if you simply end with more pleasure and the ability to have more pleasure in your body than where you started,
then you win.
Then you've won. And so that's why it's called Mo Nut, because you're literally building a bigger nut inside your body, but essentially you're also building more pleasure inside your body. And if you're doing this with your partner, you will also notice the amount of pleasure that they are having.
You're doing a VIP portion of the training. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, one of the things is that two things happen when you do this program. Either you have different fears that come up that might even be quite on a rather subconscious level of just not wanting to step into your mastery, so you self-sabotage.
And sabotage can look like suddenly your schedule's really full, you don't have time. Or suddenly a member of the family gets really sick.
Or I've got a cold myself, so I'm not going to do this, or whatever it might be. All kinds of stuff come up. It's the same thing, you've probably experienced it when you decide to go to the gym, and you come up with every single excuse gets thrown there, but when you go through those, then you go to the next level, and that's the benefit of a trainer. So you'll get access to the world's foremost, greatest sex coach in the world, me, as well as potentially you yourself.
So they can work directly with you and possibly with me as well.
As needed.
As needed if there is a psychosexual component that's required. And
so having that, just like you do with a trainer in the gym, it helps you be accountable, it helps to motivate you. The second thing is, with this program, is that people get success so quickly, you become satisfied with your level.
It's done,
I have so many, I was like, whoa.
I did 3-4 days, I'm good.
And they are all of a sudden like, well, I don't have.
But they don't know what's so good on day 14.
That's the thing.
We have this one curve if a person stays with it, that around day 13, 14, 15, something really cool, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because you got to do it. But something really cool starts to happen. And it's very consistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and this is because the bar of what is good sex and functional sex. I mean, essentially, if you are a guy, and I know this because I suffered a serious sexual injury, I was told that essentially my erection should not work. But because of this practice, it did. And when I would go and talk, though, because I still had the injury, talk to doctors, they go, well, let's see. You can ejaculate, you can get erect, and wow, you're lasting way beyond the average 5 to 7 minutes. You're going beyond 20 minutes. You're going 40 minutes or more. So they would go, well, what's the problem? And I'm like, well, but my pleasure isn't where I'm used to, or I even know where I can go. And the same for my partner. And they're like, well, but they're having orgasms when you have sex with them? That's already not, they can have their one orgasm.
The bar is very low.
The bar is completely low. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that you start to look, well, here's what functional is, but when you start to understand how to optimize and truly begin to step into the full capacity of the 5 cycles of the natural arousal of a guy's cock, you have the ability to start to feel just that tingling sensation where your heart and your cock start to activate. You start to feel the desire. You feel engorgement where blood starts to flow down. You then get into hardness where everything starts to go hard and become erect or turgid or to stiffen. And then you get these 2 other levels that most people don't get to feel into. One is heat and the ability to start to feel literally the cock gets hot. I mean, what is that like for you as a partner when you start to notice that?
I think the very first thing is it feels more full. When there's heat, there's more fullness. Meaning I feel like my whole being is being filled.
Yes.
And then there's also a way where my heart gets more activated with that heat.
And then the 5th one is electricity. Literally you start to develop...
You got like a Jedi saber?
But your cock and your whole body starts to build this bioelectric charge around it. And that happens both in the one experience that you're having, but then also the way that it builds over this 21-day period. That's where that vibrancy and the connection to your eros as a vitality, as a life force that then permeates not just the bedroom, but the boardroom, your relationship, your family life, your friendships, the way that you move through the world, the way that people will orient towards you, where maybe you're having to force things to happen. All of a sudden now life just seems to be opening doors. This is the part of living in greater attunement with yourself from a potent charge that then, I mean, a lion on the safari, the animals part for it. It doesn't sit there and ask, to have this done, or has to argue about it. It just does. Everyone knows that it's the lion. In fact, maybe, even though it's maybe not as sexy of a metaphor, the elephants are really the ones that...
Even the lion will move.
Everyone moves for the elephant. And the elephant doesn't argue. It just literally
Have you ever seen an elephant cock? Come on. And that thing can move in every imaginable way.
Those are very skilled. So
yeah, that's
the elephant cock.
Sexual mastery. I mean,
well, what do you feel though when there's that electric charge and also this ability to take angles and move around?
Well, the electric charge is addictive, and so one of the things.
Addictive?
Yeah.
Sorry, couldn't help myself.
Made me lose my train of thought.
So the electric charge, though.
Yeah. So it's the feeling of it. It's it's addictive. It's the difference between, I don't know, something that's intensely alive and something that's asleep. It's really, it has a consciousness. It has, and I think it's the same for the pussy when it becomes activated in a particular way. You're once you experience a cock that has that quality, you do not want to go back to what you knew before. It just becomes something you're like, oh, it's like a gourmet food or really good water even. Just you're like, water can taste that good. I don't want any other water. Or, whatever, butter can taste that good. Or so, yeah, it has that aliveness to it that's, you just want more of that.
And then those abilities to search out and feel out and kind of move in ways that aren't just
Well,
in
we
and out.
were.
What does that
Is
do
this
for
all
you?
in reference to your VIP? Because that's where I was asking. So,
Well, so
what
this-
would happen in those VIP sessions?
So in the VIP sessions, whether it's encouragement to go through the full 21 days because you're struggling with blocks, or because you've already become satisfied with, well, this is where I'm at, what's the actual possibility? The VIP allows you to get very specific, where I'll be working with you with laser focus on, well, where is your glass ceiling at? And look at the guys that maybe you've seen out there that are maybe people that you would look at as, oh, these are sex gods, or these are kind of gurus in the tantra community or whatever, like,
Or even just athletes.
or athletes. These are people that,
Sex symbols.
sex symbols, sex
Actors.
teachers, I coach them. Now, they all have, by the standards of the world, amazing sex. Yet they quickly find out, oh, I had no idea that I could go to these other levels. We're talking transcendental states. We're talking about psychedelic states. We're talking about shared experiences with a partner, with themselves, that completely
Or
reframe
even
and
creating-
understand how the universe works.
But even just simple things like having the kind of relationship that no longer has drama.
Yes.
Honestly, peace is something that it's I think underestimated and really, really like important, because when you get rid of drama, now what are you really here for? What are you
Yes.
creating? What are you bringing forth into the world? What are you contributing to? Not just trying to manage all the fires. The fires, you're like, good, let's harness the fuel, and this is what I'm putting out. So I think that's maybe the most important part of solo cultivation, and in this day and age, especially. It's so difficult with men. You're just being attacked in every angle imaginable. Your social conditioning is in the way. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the way of just a virile, healthy man of any age to just be able to be confident in the world and to create what you want to create and bring the beauty of your being to others with abundance, without bargaining. You know, that skill of being a human being and really being present and having a good life, that's also a result of this stuff. So I think that's underrated and should be really at the top of, what we consider. It's not just, how fast can I nut and spray all over this person's face, or,
How many times?
That only has so much flourishing. It's exciting momentarily, but it doesn't really.
As fast as that fire gets lit, it goes out.
Yeah, so that's usually what's called the little fire. So we want to get you into the big fire of your being and really tapping into your erotic genius. And I'm really excited that you're offering this in a public way. Also, we're bringing people into the Embodied Love University community. So that's going to be really cool, where we're launching the men's community.
Yep.
And for people to actually have direct access to you, I think at an incredibly reasonable price, is unheard of, because most of our price points are way higher. So you're doing, it's amazing what you're giving away here. And if you are watching this after the fact, this is going to be an ongoing training, and Aaron will ongoingly also open his calendar here and there, not all the time, but here and there.
So there's a wait list. If you don't make it, then get on the wait list, and then there will be the next time that you'll have the opportunity.
And so, so this is just a great opportunity to be more of you and to feel really confident with your erotic side.
Well, I hope that you have been opened a little bit to the possibilities that are out there. We have all sorts of programs on the Embodied Love University, but this one here really is just a key fundamental piece for you men out there to be able to train with yourself in a way that you're not dependent on your partner, in a way that you're also preparing yourself for a partner if you don't have one, and also then you can invite a partner in to your self-practice, into something that's labeled masturbation, but that they actually get to help nurture your growth, which so many women want to do,
especially when they realize it also brings them pleasure and health and vitality in their body.
But it's not just for a heterosexual. You can
No.
have a gay couple.
Absolutely.
Both go through this and support each other through this. So we'll just, anyone who really who has a cock, who wants to train their cock, it's a fabulous program. I have a little cameo here and there where I pop in and support, because I think that's also important to have a little of that feminine
Absolutely.
sprinkle in
Absolutely.
there. But I'm just really proud of you. I'm proud of this work. I'm amazed at the results. I just think every single person who has a cock needs to understand this, because it's liberation, it's freedom, and it's empowerment.
And I'm proud of you in the way that you show up in this relationship, the way that you also then feel my energy and how it encourages you to grow. And if you're a lady listening to this, there's also programs for you out there, and this is a gift that you also bring into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's stuff for couples. So
Awesome.
great to have you here.
We'd love to know your thoughts, but if you're a guy, please just jump in. Don't hesitate. This is the time. Take action, and you will just be so thrilled where you're going to be even just at the end of the 21 days.
This isn't about no fap. This isn't about no nut. This is Mo Nut and Yeah Fap November. To join us for the complete and explicit version of the podcast, simply upgrade your membership and gain instant access.